Is this your first time filling out one of those?
Actually, no. Good morning. It is another day of working in the shop, and today we're working on a school bus, even if it is just clerical work. Last week, I did an entire video on my fleet and what was wrong with them and why they would never work. And many of you pointed out that I left out a lot of my fleet. So today, we're gonna remedy that. So first of all, let me tell you how I feel about this school bus. When we got the school bus and it was stock, it was pretty much my least favorite vehicle on the entire piece of property. As soon as we got it lifted, it's moved up to like position number 6 or 7. And that should tell you how superficial I am. So what I really like about this school bus is how it looks. I like how much power it has. It's got a 6-liter LS engine in it. I love its passenger carrying capacity. I also love how smooth it rides. And I also really like the bus driver. I'll be the first to admit that we did the absolute bare minimum to get it to this level. And it has some problems. Let me show you those problems. We had to cut the exhaust off when we relocated this. We're gonna need to get the exhaust all the way out the back. In order to get the brake lines to reach with the new lift, we just kind of unbolted them and pulled them down. And that's not gonna work long term. We gotta put a transfer case in here so we have 4-wheel drive and low range. And in order to do that, we're gonna have to relocate or reroute this exhaust system. Plus, we're gonna have to build cross members and mounts for said transfer case in P205. See that? That's the AC condenser for the back of the bus. It doesn't work. I don't know why, but we gotta fix that, because it is hot out there. Triple ditch, 110 degrees, I think is what it's supposed to be today. We've already got the Barnes 4-wheel drive motor mounts put on this engine, and in case you didn't know, those are the exact same motor mounts that Optimus Prime uses. We need bump stops. Front brake lines have the exact same problem as the rear. We gotta fix that. And here's the biggest problem. This has death wobble. It had it here.
Oh no! Death wobble. Oh!
It had it here. It had it here.
Come on.
It had it here.
Oh gosh. Yeah, you don't want to.
I've been doing a bunch of research, looking at geometry and physics and science and all that kind of stuff. And I have arrived at the conclusion, with this steep of an angle on the track bar and on the drag link, it's just too much for this to cope with it, and it's just not gonna work. So what we're gonna do on this is we're gonna go full hydro. And the way we're gonna do that is with these and some other parts. There's other parts to this. There's a pump, there's hoses, you know. PSC hates steering problems as much as I do, and they have got the goods to make the problems just go away. Follow me up in here, let me tell you what's going on. This needs an overhaul. We're gonna be putting PRP seats all in this, making it a lot nicer. These seats are really low, look at these seats. They're pretty low.
Fit for a child.
Yes. When we get this all done, we'll see you at Matt's Off-Road Games, and you can get a ride in this bus, free of charge. And we'll have Eric take you on the tour. You've probably noticed as I've been talking about the school bus, there's been lots of different pictures and things that I'm talking about showing up on the screen. Do you know how we're doing that? Caitlin. She's right here. So let me show you how this works. Caitlin, show them that time when I did a thing. And then she shows it to you. Ooh, that was a night to remember. Moving right along. Man, that is clean. Not as clean. All right, this is Sweet Caroline. We are gonna be racing the Baja in this car.
You got it, guys.
We might start out with the Nora, but rest assured, I will let you know exactly when and where we're gonna be doing this. So what you're looking at right here is a 1960 Chevrolet Corvair Club Coupe Model 700. There's an argument to be made that this body style is the last official Club Coupe made in America. It's looking a lot like the MORR variant here. Before we got started, we've got a lot of questions about this car, and I have answers. The first question we get about this car, and we get it all the time, is, Matt, are these the axles you're gonna try to run in the Baja? And the answer is absolutely not. And this is the exciting part. What it's actually getting is Class 1 buggy suspension. Not just the suspension, but the whole chassis. That's right, front to back, wall to wall, 10 feet tall, the whole shebang, plus some parts. It's getting portals from 74 Weld, and I am really excited about that. If you're not familiar what Class 1 buggies are capable of, check this clip out. So we're gonna be doing all of that without the horsepower. What do you mean, man? That's a great question. What I mean is this is gonna be Corvair powered. Emphasis on Corvair and less on powered. Okay, but seriously, this was literally made for Corvair power. So when I talk to the old guys that are done desert racing, and I'm talking about the OGs, the GOATs in this industry, and I say, hey, it's gonna be Corvair powered, they're like, that's awesome, that's cool. And they'll talk about how many Bajas have been completed with an engine with less than 100 horsepower. When I talk to the new guys, they're like, you need 1,000 horsepower, idiot. Don't you know? It boils down to this. One, I trust the old guys. Two, there's been a lot of Corvair powered vehicles that have finished the Baja 1000. Number three, I am just bored, absolutely bored with LS powered race cars. I know they're awesome, I know they're cool, I know they're fast, but when you hear somebody say, I've got a 700, 800, 900, or even 1,000 horsepower LS, everybody goes, oh, and so do I. How cool is it gonna be when I cross the finish line with 60-year-old air-cooled technology? Where are we at on this? Well, we have two chassis that have been ordered and cut out and need to be picked up in Texas. One of them is for an open car pre-runner, unless we decide to throw another body on it. And the other one is going to be this closed car race car. And we've been gathering the drivetrain parts to make this awesome. I'm going to show you those next. We've got fresh rebuilt heads ready for the Baja. We've got cylinders, pistons, crankshafts, turbo. Oh, by the way, turbo, 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 parts of turbos, turbo carbs, turbo, turbo, parts of turbos. If anybody tells you I'm not into Corvair turbos, you can tell them definitively, yes, I am. Turbo. This transmission was built by a famous transmission builder. This is a Corvair Powerglide transmission. This is built to handle 400 horsepower, or at least 350. I don't know. But this is Baja race car stuff. We got engine blocks, cylinders, pistons, rings, rockers, all Baja race car stuff. Look at all those reground and balanced crankshafts. And here's one of the other vehicles we left out and you noticed. The race car. So a lot of people think this is the greatest race car in the world. It's actually not, it's just a tribute. So when I got back from the Freedom 500 last year, I decided to build a replica of my race car that I raced out there. There is one part of this car that is from the greatest race car in the world, and that's this spoiler. Cletus has a right-hand man, his name's Alan, and Alan was nice enough to box this up and ship it out here, and we bolted it on the car. That's a piece of history right there, folks. In the short amount of time that we've owned this car, it's got a pretty impressive history. It started out life as a security car. I don't know what kind of security it did, but it said security right on it. We picked it up, went straight to Heavy D's place, and we did some sort of Rocket League car soccer game that got totally out of hand.
You gotta obey rule 1! I don't know, but rule 1
Milkshakes were thrown. Bananas were peeled. You know, pandemonium.
Hey!
Man, if I was you, I'd get out of there, dude.
Smells like the inside of a dairy barn in August. It's actually not that bad. We put like 7 gallons of Febreze in there. It smells pretty good. This is the shop car. We use it every day. It's actually got a huge trunk. It's almost a pickup truck. That's even with the spare tire. So not only is it an awesome mode of conveyance, we've also used it for a dune cruiser and a smoke machine. It's time for some new tires. The AC blows cold, the exhaust note is perfect, and there's an awful lot of room in there for hauling people and things around. I really like the way this car looks. However, it's all about to change, because I'm going to be racing in the New England 900 in Stafford Springs, Connecticut soon, Friday the 18th, like today. Oh, I'm there today. If you haven't done it yet, go to freedomplus.com. Get the live stream. We're live streaming this event. I have got a lot of scores to settle. I was disrespected by Cletus. He put me at 20th place. That's where he thinks I'm gonna finish. Even though last year I qualified faster than him. So this year, I'm in first place, because why not? I want Robbie there to watch the win and agonize in his defeat. I'm putting Vice Grip and Weston right here because I need reliable witnesses to testify that I beat Robbie and Cletus at the New England 900 today. Check it out. So the next time you see this car, it is going to be wrapped exactly like the car that I used to win the New England 900. It's going to be awesome. It's one for the history books.
He should focus on smaller goals like finishing.
Are you getting all this, Caitlin?
Yes.
Stopping here for my lunch break, and I really wanted to try one of these MREs. I've heard they've come a long ways, and if we get in trouble out there, since I'm always unprepared, I'm probably going to be ending up eating one of these anyway. So I wanted to see what I was into. This is beef shredded in barbecue sauce. This isn't the one I asked for.
That's the one we had. I couldn't find any more.
This is how you signal that the meal is done.
Do we need to mix that with a drink?
Chocolate protein drink powder.
How much do you want in there?
Well, how much does it say? What's the ratio?
I don't know. I think you're supposed to fill this whole bag up, so that's probably a pretty good ratio there.
Yeah, you're not doing this right, man.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I can completely believe that. So if Rhett and Colin both get stuck in the Bombi, they're not gonna make it. Boy, this is a thick drink, man. Look at that.
Oh, lumpy.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
That was dry stuff you just drank.
It's good.
That was great.
Okay, that's the heat packets. And this is the food. Man, I am a terrible. This did not get warmed up. Right. It'll be fine. Woo. This is what I'm eating for lunch today, by the way. Boy, that is not good, but I'm gonna eat it. Here, hold that for a second. Let's see if I can get something to make it better. Oh, we got tortillas.
That's probably supposed to go in the tortilla.
It's bland.
Yeah, Rhett. I'm gonna make sure and make my own. If we ever get into dire circumstances where we have to eat one of these to survive, I'm prepping my own. Okay. We got some cheese jalapeno sauce right there. Mmm. Okay.
That's thick. I don't think it looks too bad. It looks more like ground beef though.
Right, you're gonna.
Now, I'm not saying this is bad. Like, don't get me wrong. This is the worst taco I have ever consumed. But it is palatable. Woo. But she's knocking right up against that border, though.
What's that smell? What are you eating?
Does it smell weird?
Yeah, it's wild in here. What is that?
The worst taco I've ever consumed.
Whoa.
This is a 3,000 calorie meal.
Are you serious?
An MRE taco.
Is that hot chocolate?
Yeah.
It looks.
It's more like dirt. Chocolate flavored dirt floating on the top of water. But I'm blaming Rhett.
Brett.
All right, so you've heard of applesauce. This is strawberry carrot sauce. This is the real test. Those of you that know me well know that I'll eat food that's not good, but I won't eat food that tastes bad. Let's give this a shot. I don't know how they made strawberries and carrots taste like plum pits. That's what it tastes like. If you ground up a plum pit.
Is that a good thing?
No, that's not a good thing. But I don't want anybody to think I'm a quitter. Why am I? I don't want to make, yeah. I don't want anybody to think I'm a quitter, so turn the camera off. I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign when your cinnamon roll is packed with a desiccant. But I've got a hunch. Yeah, right. It is hard to mess up a cinnamon roll. Brett said that.
I mean, it's more of a pancake.
It's not bad.
It's not fresh, but it's not bad.
So here's the deal. Lest any of you think I'm a fancy boy, I will definitely eat this when I'm hungry, and I'll be thankful for it. I'm not bringing one to lunch tomorrow. Let's just say that. I could foresee a time, well, I've had times in my life where this would have been an absolute blessing. Well, like I said, that time ain't now. I think the carrot sauce is the roughest thing here. Some people might like this. I think it's specifically designed to keep you regular. You know what? If I was to guess the ingredients and nobody told me what this was, I would guess that it was pureed carrot tops, like the greens. It has a very, very bitter green taste to it.
I feel like that's what baby food tastes like.
All right. Let's get out of here.
All right, that brings us to the next vehicle, Ed's Golden Nugget.
We get a lot of questions about this rig in the comments. They're like, why doesn't Ed ever drive his Golden Nugget? Or does Ed ever drive it? Or whatever happened to it? So let's go through that. Ed is 87 years old and his passion is gold prospecting. He loves it. He loves looking in dirt for gold. Literally. Ed loves looking all over on and in planet Earth for little pieces of gold. Ed also loves his Golden Nugget. Every day we have over 100 people stop by the shop and they come in and take the tour and they come and see the Golden Nugget. Ed loves showing the Golden Nugget off to everybody that comes here and he loves telling them stories. So Ed is doing exactly what he wants to do with this. He gets to sit and relax in the air conditioning and then tell people, that's my Golden Nugget. I used to haul dynamite in with it. That's my Rokon. I crashed on it with a load of dynamite on it. Lots of dynamite stories with Ed. It's a wonder he's got all his fingers. But this does get driven several times a year. It goes in parades and Ed loves going in those parades with it. Ed's not gonna find a lot of joy jumping in this and just going out through the hills. It's not really what he's about at this point in his life. Back when he used a rig like this, he wouldn't have wanted it this nice because he was gonna beat the living tar out of it. And he did, ask Robbie. For those of you that don't know the Golden Nugget story, you should really go back and check it out. But basically, Ed used this rig to get back into his cabin in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and he would leave this at the cabin over the winters. Well, one winter, a big rock slide came down and covered the trail, and it was so big they were never able to dig it out and get the road back into the cabin. The cabin was isolated, and this was trapped. So Ed just left it there for 40 years. I gathered up my crew and the banana, and we went down there to rescue it. We pulled it out of its forest slumber, through the rock piles of jaggedness, and into the river of doom.
It's all the way under. It's just completely under.
Then we did all the other things we needed to do to snatch it from the jaws of defeat. Then we snuck it away to Paul's shop, where Paul did an engine transplant, fixed the frame, suspension, axles, transfer case, all that stuff. And then it went to Robbie's. Then Robbie and his team meticulously hit it with little tiny hammers till it was perfectly straight, and then they just painted it like Bob Ross. That's what they did. They did a Bob Ross on this. And when it was done, we presented it to Ed.
Golden Nugget. Oh, come on. You guys are funning me. What in the world did you do this for?
And he's been smiling ever since. I'd like to take a second and answer some questions about some recent videos that we've done. There was a lot of questions about one of them in particular. We did a job where a Jeep Compass was lost in the desert, and the gal that lost it didn't know where she lost it. And it took us about 6 hours to find it. If you haven't seen that video, you should definitely watch it because it is a good one. The #1 comment that we got on that video is we should have left the back hatch open on the Compass when we pulled Colin out through the desert. Now let me explain a couple things. The inside of the car was not hotter than the outside of the car.
Like inside this car is the same temperature as outside.
Because the car was in the shade and had been most of the day. Plus the hatch was open when we got there. So he wasn't cooking in there. It wasn't 140 degrees in there. It was about, what, 102? It was 102 degrees inside that car. The main complaint with being inside that car was there was no air movement. So this is where I hurt some feelings. Tell me you don't know anything about airflow without telling me you don't know anything about airflow. If we pulled him out with the back hatch open, which the #1 comment was that would get Colin some fresh air so he wouldn't die. The amount of air that would swirl in there and actually make it to Colin, I bet you he wouldn't even be able to fill it. Like, it would have made zero improvement in the situation inside that car. But what it would have done is it would have filled the back hatch area and the back seat full of silt, sand, dust, and just dirt. We actually got some comments that we should have broken out the side window so Colin should have got some air. And oh my goodness, I am so glad that you, sir, do not do off-road recovery. What we didn't show in that video is we were alternating Colin and Rhett over that 5.3 miles.
All right, we're giving Colin a little bit of a break, and we're putting Rhett in his stead, and I'm gonna be pulling.
It just didn't make it in. But yeah, we take care of our guys. Nobody was in any danger, and it's good for them. And then the next, this is the majority of the rest of the comments on this video. You should have used a drone.
There's a weather cell coming through that's not good for flying in. So we have no air support at the moment.
This one, boy, wow. Wow. We mentioned the drone here.
I think we need to go over there and put a bird in the air, get an eye in the sky.
Here.
It started raining hard, so that means no drone yet, unfortunately.
And here.
Man, if I could get the drone up.
Also, a good portion of the footage was the drone. Here's an example here. Here's another example. And here's another example. And then the actual shot where we first showed the vehicle of the video was from a drone.
Is it down there? We found it!
We got a lot of these comments. People were like, amateurs, use your drone. Idiots, you should get a drone. Matt, have you thought about getting a drone? Yes. Yes, we did. Let me tell you something about drones you may not know. One, yes, you can cover a lot of area with a drone. When you're up high enough to scan a lot of area, even a vehicle is hard to spot with a drone. And the terrain we were in was even worse. Lots of really deep ravines. And so when the drone's flying and looking over an area, it's not even seeing into the bottom of the ravines that are like 30-degree angles from where it is. So yes, the drone was useful. Yes, we used it. Yes, it helped us find the car faster. And no, I don't think drones are as good at scanning as you think they are. So what was really valuable there was knowing that the compass was only capable of driving certain areas, and then knowing which area to look, then that's when you can put the drone up. It's really hard to sweep. We figured it out. We were doing just short of 100 square miles. 100 square mile search area. So we have 3 batteries for the drone, and that's the right amount of batteries for an off-road recovery company that needs to do a little recon with the drone, but that's not enough batteries to cover 100 square miles. I don't know how much time that would even take to do a comprehensive grid with that. We probably would have spent about as much time. So the important thing was to zero in on where it was and then put the drone up. That's not to say we didn't use the drone. Let me show you all the area that we scanned with the drone. I wouldn't even be addressing this if we didn't have almost 1,000 comments that we should have used a drone to help look for this Jeep.
Colby had the drone out.
Rest assured, we did use the drone. We obviously didn't put the searching with the drone in the video. I know some of you would watch that, but most people wouldn't watch an hour and a half of a drone just sweeping up and down, not finding anything. All right, moving along to the vehicles. Let's talk about my Spider since it's here. Recently, my Spider was involved in a traffic accident, actually a pretty good one. And it just makes me sick. A very careless driver ran a red light and they hit me probably doing 55 or 60 miles an hour right here on my bumper. You can see the outline right there. Shoved the bumper that way. I was luckily almost all the way through the intersection. I saw them coming and I stepped on the gas. If I hadn't stepped on the gas, they would have tagged me probably about right here, which would have totaled the car, I'm sure. I'm gonna show you a little bit from that day right here.
Is this your first time filling out one of those?
Actually, no. I was rear-ended once. I had to fill this out. I've never been in a traffic accident where I was at fault.
I'm not feeling super good right now. I made a call to Robbie
he's not worried about it. In fact, he's excited because, well, that's what he does. It's this.
Even though Robbie's already agreed to fix this for me, why don't you run over to his channel and let him know that you would like to see my Spider restored back to its former glory right there before your eyes. That would make me feel better. Let me tell you a little bit of history of how this car came to be in my possession. So a while back, we did a job for Donut Media on one of those big Earth Roamer prototype things, an F550 $2 million rig, I don't know. They got it up on a trail, they broke the drive shaft. They couldn't get anybody to come and rescue it for less than $10,000. And I told them I would do it for 1/9 that price. So we went there, we got it patched together, got it off the trail, and that night at dinner, I was cruising Facebook Marketplace as per the custom, and I saw this Spider for sale. So I got a hold of the owner, and he said it was having some problems with spewing oil out everywhere. And I know some of you are saying it's a Corvair, that's normal, but it was spewing an abnormal amount. He was figuring that it was going to be spewing about 1 quart of oil every like 10 miles. So I went and looked at it, popped the hood, started it up. When I undid the oil fill cap, it blew up like this. It was under serious pressure, but then the pressure went away. So that made me think, oh, there's no ventilation system in there. And we actually found a shop rag inside the crankcase vent. So I took the shop rag out, drove it home. This is actually a different engine. I built an engine for it. And this thing's spicy. I don't know if any of you are familiar with turbocharged Corvairs, but this thing hunts down Porsches, steals their lunch money. So we put a new interior in it. My buddy Jeff Carter did that. We kept all the patina. I didn't want to restore it. I just wanted to preserve it the way it was. And it definitely did need seats though, front and rear. For those of you that like numbers, 2.7 liter air-cooled flat six. It's got a turbocharger. It builds 12 pounds of boost. It's got a single stage water meth injection kit on it. And it goes 50 to 120 faster than it goes 0 to 60. And it's not that slow, 0 to 60. Some of you have actually been asking, where's White Lightning? Haven't seen it in a while. There's speculation that it was sold. Nope, White Lightning's right here, and it needs nothing.
There's a bear in White Lightning.
Man, ever since a bear broke into this truck, I've just been paranoid about it. And I just got this. It's a late 40s, early 50s Willys flat fender. So what am I gonna do with this? Not much. I'm gonna try to get it running and just leave it as it is. I'm gonna get the correct wheels for it though. Gonna have the small little military tires, and then I'm just gonna drive it just out on those trails. And so the trails that are super easy will be more difficult in this.
Driving my 48 CJ2A Grandpa's Jeep. This is how the drop looks from the top. The first time I drove this trail and drove down this obstacle, it was the scariest thing I'd ever done in my Jeep.
That's what I want. I might get some Alcan springs for this because leaf spring technology has come a long, long ways since this was built. Wonder if this engine's locked up. Appears to be.
Yeah.
That bolt's stripped. Well, she's gonna need some work. I've wanted something like this for a while. It is a lot of fun to get in a rig that's not as capable and hit the trails. It makes them a lot more fun. I don't know when we're gonna get on this, but we have it now. And that brings us to the next vehicle some of you have been asking about. Jamie's rental, right here. We call it the rental Jeep. The reason we do that, the first time she took it out, it was brand new. She was doing a tricky obstacle. There was a super nice lady that said, that Jeep's too new. And she chewed me out for making Jamie drive up this V-notch. And I said, don't worry, it's a rental. I wanted to calm the lady down and give her the assurance that it didn't matter what happened to it. And it worked, but it's confused a lot of you. Jamie does own this. It is not really a rental, but the name is Rental Jeep. It's a Rubicon Jeep 392, and Jamie likes to drive it around with the exhaust cutouts open. It's got factory exhaust cutouts on it. I like them closed because I'm getting old. And that leads us to the big one. Question on everybody's mind. What is going on with the Samurai? Well, I'll tell you. The Samurai is currently in the state of New Mexico, the great state of New Mexico, if you will. Somewhere in the Farmington area, because that is the headquarters of Colt Builds It. Y'all know who Colt is. He's a great wheel man. a great fabricator, and he does a really, really good Chewbacca impression. So the Suzuki is getting sliced, diced, triced, which means it's going to be 3 times as long as it was overall, for those of you that don't know car lingo. And it's slowly and artfully being turned into the world's smallest off-road wrecker. Rory, you think your wrecker's small? All of you know we don't build recovery vehicles just so they're cool, even though they are super cool. We build them to work. They got to do the job. And Colt is going through every single element of this thing over on his channel. Colt builds it. So go check it out. Go down to the comments, say, I'm here from Matt's Off-Road Recovery because I want to see the world's smallest off-road recovery vehicle be transferred from the lowly yet incredible Suzuki Samurai to the world's smallest off-road wrecker.
All right, I've got to go over this next vehicle because I have got questions about it. They want to know what's going on with the rollback or information on the rollback. So what we have here is, I believe it's a 2020 Freightliner. It's got a 6.7 liter Cummins in it. It's got a, I don't know, 12-speed transmission made by some manufacturer. And we have done jobs with this.
See how it's not pulling up? Yeah.
It doesn't get used a lot. We don't do any on-road towing. We're not for hire. So this is just for hauling our rigs around. It seats 6 people in comfort. It's got a low profile deck on it. It's a nice rig. I know you didn't ask, but let's talk about some trailers here. This is the trailer we use for hauling the Bombi around. This gooseneck trailer right here, this is what we use for coming out to shows and stuff and going and doing jobs. This trailer actually gets used quite a bit. It's what we haul the wrecker on for the most part. This trailer right here we call the car hauler trailer. It's got a 16-foot deck with a 2-foot dovetail, so 18 feet overall of deck space. This is a 14,000 pound trailer, so it can haul the wrecker. It's just not as nice because it's a bumper pull and the goosenecks work a lot better. This right here is 1/3 of a Corvair that somebody dropped off. Thank you. This is my old derby car. You guys watched me wreck that last year. It's done. We're just stripping it for parts. Let me go show you the derby cars I am building. That school bus right there is for sale. There's a project back there, an old white cab. That's actually a garbage truck. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with that or not, but we've got it. Speaking of derby cars, this is Colin's derby car. This is a Monte Carlo. I know that there were some comments where people were like, you better not be wrecking that Monte Carlo. Dude, top's been cut off of this car for something else. It's not a valuable Monte Carlo. I do like Monte Carlos, and if this was any way savable, I would agree with you. But we got this Ford Galaxy. This is Rhett's project. He's going to be dropping a motor in it pretty quick. We got some derby going on. You guys already know how I feel about demolition derby. It's a great teacher. We're using cars nobody wants. This car right here, this is Carter's car. It's a Cordoba. Big block 400 in there. I don't know what years they are. They're 70s something. So this is my Chrysler Cordoba that I'm going to be running. It's got a 400 cubic inch big block in it also. 727 transmission. There are some sources on the internet that say that the Chrysler Cordoba is one of the most difficult cars to restore. They even put it up there with the 60s Lincolns, which I think is crazy, but it's just because there's so much one-off stuff on these. They didn't share anything with other platforms, I guess. I don't know, it's the internet. I believe everything on the internet. But what we're doing with it's not gonna be that hard. And that brings us to Ed's truck. I know we've got some questions. Why don't you fix this for Ed, or at least put a good door on it? We tried to put a good door on it. This pillar's been damaged. Let me tell you something about Ed. Ed is old school. Ed does what he wants. If Ed doesn't want to do something, he can't be talked into it. Ed easily has the means to replace this truck, but he's not going to do it until he completely uses this truck up. And one of the criteria for using this truck up is the tires are too good to get rid of this truck. He wants them bald. So he's not really thinking of getting rid of this truck, but if he was to get rid of this truck, he would have to use the tires up first. The older viewers will understand this. Ed is from the old school where you don't just throw stuff away, you reuse it, you repurpose it, you make sure that you get all the life out of it before you ever would think about throwing it away. And if it can be repurposed, you repurpose it. That's how Ed thinks, and that's what he does. It makes him happy, it makes me happy, and so should you. I know we covered this in a video, but I'm still getting questions about it. What's going on with the pre-runner? Well, I've decided that there's too much Dune Cruiser sand rail in here and not enough pre-runner, and by the time we fixed everything, we might as well just start with a whole new chassis, which is what we're doing. So this is actually gonna be robbed for parts. Not very many parts, but some parts for the real pre-runner, so that's sad. Well, hopefully I was able to cover all the rest of the vehicles that I missed and the vehicles you were interested in. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. Thanks for watching.
Get all that?
Still working on it.